Hello, friends. Welcome to our today's session. Last sessions we are discussing about cost of equity, and we have also initiated the discussion on computation of cost of internal reserve. Let us continue with that. Let me share my screen with you. Have a look at this screen. If you look at the slide, you can understand that this is the formula for computation of cost of internal reserve or cost of retained earning. So, cost of reserve or cost of internal earning, cost of retained earning uh, is computed by using this formula D1 by P0 plus C. You know, this is the formula we have learned when we are computing cost of equity. There also formula was D1 by P0 plus G. Same formula. Equity and reserves are one and the same thing. Reserves belong to the equity shareholders. But the only difference is that if the question says, or in that situation, there is a flotation cost, then flotation cost shall be reduced from P0 when you are computing cost of equity. But in reserve, there is no flotation cost. There is no issue cost because it is already available with the company. It is internally available. When you are making a fresh issue of shares, for making that issue, some cost has to be income. So that cost needs to be reduced from the price. For example, let us say shares are issued at 100 rupees. That is the market price. But the issue cost is 5 rupees. So effectively, you are getting 95 rupees. The formula will be D1 by 95 here because here the for cost of equity formula is P0 minus F plus C. But for reserve, that 5 rupees will not be reduced when we are computing cost of reserve. That's the only difference. Okay, so we can, by using this, we can compute cost of retained. And here is a small question. The share of the company is currently selling at rupees 100. It wants to finance its capital expenditure of rupees 1 lakh, either by retained earning or by selling new shares. The company is thinking that whether I should use retained earning or I should be issuing new shares. If the company sells new shares, the issue price will be 95. That means 5 rupees has to be given or 5% has to be allowed as discount. The dividends per share next year is 4.75. So D1 is 4.75. P0 for the purpose of cost of equity is 95. But for the purpose of retained earning, it is 100. Dividend for share is next year is this much and expected to grow at the rate of 6%. G is 6%. Calculate cost of internal equity, cost and also calculate cost of external equity. Look at the solution here, which we had discussed in the previous class. So when we are taking KE or cost of equity is computed D1 by P0 minus F. This flotation cost, the discount is reduced here. So 4.75 divided by 75 plus divided by 95 plus 0.06 is the growth rate. It comes to 11%. But when we are computing cost of equity, here also same formula D1 by P0 plus G, but P0 here is 100. That flotation cost or each cost related to the issue will not be reduced. As a result, you see cost of internal equity is cheaper than external equity. That is the concept we had already discussed. Now we have recapitulated. Here is one more question. The cost of uh, current market price is 150. Cost of flotation per share on new issue is rupees 3. Dividend paid over 6 years is rupees 10.05, 11.02, 11.58, 12.16, 12.76, 13.40 respectively. Find the cost of capital. First of all, what we are going to do, we'll find out the growth rate. For that, we are computing the simple average growth rate. So these are the figures 10.05, 11.02, 11.58, etc. are the dividend rates. From these dividend rates, let me compute the growth. Growth is computed like this. Okay. If you see what is the growth rate, it comes to 5.08%, 4.93%, and 5.02%. You might be thinking, oh, 9.65%, 5.08%. This is the growth rate. You might be thinking, where from I'm getting these figures? The figures are like this. You see, 10.05 become 11.02. So what is the growth? Growth is 11.02 minus 10.05. This growth is upon 10.05. So the formula for computing growth rate is this figure, that is 11.02 minus 10.05 whole divided by 10.05. Similarly, between these two, growth rate can be computed like this: 11.58 minus 11.02, the whole divided by 11.0. And between these two numbers, growth can be computed like this: 12.16 minus 11.58, whole divided by 11.5. If you compute like this, the growth rate will be coming 9.65%, 5.08%, again 5.08%, 4.93%, 5.02%. So simple average growth rate is 5.95. So average it out, these figures divided by 5, will get him growth rate is 5.95 or roughly about 6%. Now G is known to you. Okay. You can follow other method also, which we had discussed earlier, that is point to point growth. Here you see how we are computing. Okay. So if you see the dividend rate, beginning it was 10.05. At the end, it is 13.40. Are you able to see it? 10.05 become 13.40. How you are computing growth? So here what we will be doing. That means if the 10.05 is the present value, 13.40 is the future value. Okay, so the future value factor here is 13.40 divided by 10.05. It comes to 1.333. Now, if you refer to future value factor table, you'll find that 1.333 for 5 years represents 6% growth. You have to refer to the future value factor table for 5 years, 1.33. Okay, if you want, I'll be showing you the future value factor table. Okay, for 5 years, right, you have to see it. Let me show you. Let me share the screen again. Just a minute. Here I am showing you future value factor table for 5 years. This is the year column. You see 5 years. I'm selecting here. You see 1.33 closely comes to 6%. Therefore, growth rate is 6%. This is how you can find it out by referring to the future value factor table. Okay. That was another way of computing growth rate. Once we know the growth rate, then we'll be able to compute cost of equity and cost of reserves if it is required. So you see, cost of equity is calculated like D1 by P0 minus F. F is the quotation cost plus G. D1 is not given to you in the question. If you read the question, what it says, dividend paid over past 3 years is this one. But what is future dividend? Future dividend now we have to compute. How we are computing future dividend? You see, last dividend was 13.04. That will grow at 6%. If 13.04 grows at 6%, so we have to multiply it with 1 plus 0.06, it comes to 14.2. So 14.2 is D1, that is the future dividend. Now you can apply the formula, you see, D1 by P0 minus F. Look at here, you can see the formula now. So it is 14.02 divided by 150 minus 3. Okay, why 3 is deducted? Again, look at the question. You'll be able to understand why 3 is deducted. Okay, you see, the flotation cost is rupees 3. So you already know flotation cost has to be deducted while computing cost of equity. But when computing reserves, computing cost of reserve, it will not be. So P0 minus F is 150 minus 3 plus growth rate is 0.06. So it comes to 15.66%. That is the cost of equity. One more question we can do. Look at here. X Limited shares is selling at rupees 80 and EPS is rupees 10. Earning per share is rupees 10. It has payout ratio of 100%. Payout ratio is 100% means retention ratio is 0. What is cost of equity? Let us solve the first question. Oh, see, payment is 100%, so retention is 0. So you know growth, there is one more formula, G is equal to P into R. When R is 0, so growth is 0. Now if you apply the formula, cost of equity is equal to D1 by P0. Dividend is 10, price is 80. Look at the question. It says EPS is 10, at 100% is distributed to be paid. That means what? Dividend is rupees 10. Dividend is rupees 10 and price is 80. So D1 by P0 is 80. Growth is 0. So the cost of equity is 12.5% as computed. Hope you are understanding. If you look at the second bit of the question, it says, if the above firm's payout ratio is 60%, 60% firm is paying, that means 40% is retained. It earns 15% rate of return on its investment opportunity. That means return on equity is 15%. This will help us. Retention ratio, you know, 40%. Return on equity is 15%. So growth, you know, is equal to B into R. So 0.4 into 0.15, you can find out the growth rate. Once you know the growth rate, we'll be able to compute cost of equity. Now, you see the second bit, how it is solved. Retention ratio is 40% because payout ratio is 60%. EPS is rupees 10. So 60% will be paid. That is 60% rupees paid. That means on this 10 rupees, 6 rupees will be paid. 40% will be retention. So 4 rupees will be retained. Growth is equal to retention ratio into return on equity. That is 40% into 15%. It comes to 6% is the growth. Dividend is 6 rupees, what we have calculated here. So D1 will be how much? 6 rupees will grow at the rate of 1.06. So 6 into 1 plus 1.06. It is coming to 6.36. So KE is equal to D1 by P0. That is 6.36 by 80 plus G is 6%. Totally, it comes to 13.95%. That is the cost of equity. Hope you have understood this question. Then we'll move to the next model, step of growth. Not important for you, considering your level. So I'm skipping this question. Purposefully, I'm skipping this question. If you want, in some other recorded video of mine, this will be available. We'll be sending you the link. Now, what is important is to learn the next concept. That is how to compute the cost of preference share. At this stage, let us take a break. And after 5 minutes, we'll catch up with this concept, cost of computation of preference share. Okay, you might be having some basic idea of preferences. They got preferential right over equity shareholders. They got priority over dividend payment. At the time of liquidation, also they are giving priority. They're given priority. So let us learn about that. But right now, let us take a break for 5 minutes. Thank you.